Welcome back to the Cados and Co podcast. I'm here with someone who's a veteran in this space. Jamo, thanks for joining me, mate.
Thanks for having me, Dos. It's awesome to be here in Melbourne. It's great. My local, the Bridge Hotel. It's awesome that you're doing it here because it's so close for me. And yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really looking forward to this.
We couldn't have picked a closer venue to you. The Bridge Hotel, they've been amazing. They gave me two conditions when I asked if I could do my pod out of their function room. They said, you've got to sign up for the footy tipping comp, and then you've got to give the footy tipping comp a pump up. So if anyone wants to join a great pub footy tipping comp, join the Bridge Hotel one because you'll be taking me on, and I'm a terrible tipster.
So it's a good chance to get a win and boost the confidence for these people.
You'll get the win. You'll get the win for sure.
Yeah. Well, I might join and good luck taking me on because I'm phenomenal.
Are you a freak, footy tipping?
Nah, I actually haven't done it for a few years.
Yeah, I phoned it in after I'd always do it with my family, and just for years, like aunties and uncles would run laps around me. I'm terrible at footy tipping and Supercoach. I pick with my heart.
Yeah.
And you can't. It's a ruthless game.
You're a heart type of guy, though.
Yeah.
You're a lover, not a fighter. I love that about you, though.
And back in the day, I'd be tipping Melbourne, 20 games a year. They'd lose 20 games a year. I'd be tipping against Geelong just because I hated them 20 games a year, and they'd be going through undefeated. So at that point, I'm 40 tips behind already.
And you just, what I've learned through footy tipping, and one of the reasons I quit was for that reason. People who don't even watch are better.
Yeah.
Because they just ask people, who's going to win? And then if you just go with, if you genuinely just follow the betting markets and picks the favourite, you're probably going to have a leg up on us who tip with our heart a bit.
Well, on that, I think some people who do the full season from the start of the year, and you sort of vaguely go off last year's results and you sort of vaguely go off who would be the favourites, I think those people get pretty close to being successful in the tipping comps.
Mm-hmm. And then when it gets to the back end, then if you're in amongst it and you've got a chance to win, that's when you can tip with your head a bit more than just the favourites,
Yeah, 100%.
So maybe that's our tactic heading into the Bridge Hotel tipping comp. I reckon that can be that could be it.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I might just get it all out of the way because the admin of tipping every week, I used to forget. It'd be Friday night or the Thursday night games would jump me and I'd be a game down.
So you're going to submit all your tips now?
Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I just spend an arvo, get them all in and see how it goes.
It'd be pretty impressive if you made, there wouldn't be finals, I don't think.
I'm
thinking more AFL fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
Are you?
That's something I'm pretty good at. And I heard Checkers is good too. So I need
Checkers is a freak.
Need to bounce off him because I've heard he's had some high finishes.
He's a gun.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to just living here.
Well, how's it been settling in? So obviously you moved over from Perth. You're in the big smoke now. A couple months already.
Yep.
How's it feeling?
It's great. Obviously, the missing family and friends aspect is there, but the opportunities I've had already here have been awesome. So, I'm really looking forward to it. It's coming up on 3 months. And Grace, my partner, and I, we always talked about living in a different city, and Melbourne just seemed to be the place because I love sporting capital of the world almost.
Yeah.
And just to be amongst all you guys who I've known for years, but haven't been physically with.
Yeah, virtually.
It's funny, virtually I've known you for a decade.
Yeah.
Just through messages and whatnot. So yeah, it's awesome to be amongst it. Looking forward to what's to come. A bit daunting because leaving Perth, a lot of people behind. It's a little bit scary, but also I'm going to figure it out. It's going to be good. It already has been good. And I was just thinking on the walk here, the walk that took 30 seconds.
Yeah.
This is my first podcast since the Jamo and Dylan show ended.
Oh, wow.
This is the first appearance.
Jeez. Well, I'm honoured and also a little bit nostalgically sad, but yeah, that's huge. So when you are living in Perth, because you said there's more sport and there's more stuff over here, when you would see events coming to Australia, if they skipped Perth or whatever, would you get some FOMO?
Oh, of course. It was something, especially in my first maybe 16, 17 years of life, that was a common theme. But in the past decade, I'd say Perth has had a resurgence where
100%.
the government in Perth has pumped so much money into putting on events like the UFC or like State of Origin or stuff like that. So
every good festival goes to Perth now.
Yep. And a lot of the major artists are going there now because there's Optus Stadium, which seats 60,000.
For sure.
Can get even more with like people on the grass and whatnot. So, no, I'd say Perth isn't a forgotten city anymore.
No, it's good.
But it once was.
The WWE went over there.
Yep. That was unreal. I didn't get to go, but I watched it all. I had a few mates that went who are a bit like us, like WWE fans, predominantly when like I was younger and you were younger, but they went and said it's one of the best entertainment events they've ever seen. So, yeah, it must have been awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I don't know. It is weird when an artist comes over and picks one or two cities. And that's why, like, when I grew up in Geelong, like, I suppose we were an hour from Melbourne, but I used to be like, nothing's happening in Geelong. Like,
it would feel like a world away.
Yeah, I'm like, it's all happening an hour up the road. And that's sort of why I fell in love with Melbourne from a very young age. Like, the elite sports, the elite artists. And then even, you know, if you had a knee injury and you go to a doctor in Geelong, they'd be like, oh, we'll send you a specialist in Melbourne. So in my brain growing up, it's like once you cross the Westgate Bridge, it's the world of the elite. It's like the best of the best in every field is here. Like the best coffee, the best food. Like no one's got the best food and they're living in Ballarat.
No, they claim to have the best bakeries and the best this and that.
Well, they might have the best bakery, but I'm not sure you're getting a good Italian at Ballarat or Bendigo. Yeah. But it feels like, you know, capital cities, you know, from the art or, the sport, the culture, it feels like you're walking around with the best of the best. And also, as you've sort of mentioned, other people that are trying to get there, which is really exciting.
It's motivating.
Yeah.
Like in Perth, and there's plenty of people who are doing stuff, but in terms of like the social media landscape, and I didn't ever see myself wanting to be in the social media space. It was more the YouTube space, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny how you have to adapt over time because like TikTok and Instagram comes about, like you and I were all about like mid to long form content. And then this shift happens where the world changes and you have to change with it or else you get left behind.
Yeah, I'll adapt soon. I'll get around to adapting.
Yeah, but it's tough, isn't it? Because it's like, it's the new age, it's the new world. It's all these younger people who are, I guess, like it's the people who are on their phone the most, which is teenagers.
Yeah.
And they're basically fueling what's next in the world just by what they want.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Well, the audience guides the platforms and then the platforms guides the creators. And yeah, it's crazy. Like back in the day when we were both doing YouTube, it's like vlogs got really big in 2017 and then podcasts were sort of the thing in 2019. And then I remember like David Dobrik 4-minute videos were big. And then within 18 months, 40-minute videos was like the trend. So, and like when I first started, Facebook was a massive factor. Like if you could grow on Facebook, you could convert that to anywhere. And then sort of by 2020, no one was watching Facebook and all these people with big followings shifted to TikTok. And so, yeah, being on socials, you just have to be like finger on the pulse. Otherwise, you can get stuck and left behind.
It's funny you mentioned Facebook. When I was 18, I was at uni, and I was only at uni for a year until I just gave up, essentially, and knew that
Good man.
It wasn't really the path I wanted to take.
That's the story of a lot of people that I know, that I'm close with.
Well, you kind of get pushed towards uni because it's like the safe thing to do and you can find a good job and you just go down that path because you're told it's what's right. And for a lot of people, it is.
Yeah.
For me, it just wasn't that. Like I was kind of kidding myself going there. I was just hoping I'd figure out what I wanted to do. But realistically, deep within, I knew that it was not the traditional path.
Going through the motions.
Yeah. So I was at uni one day and I was sitting next to a couple of my mates and I said to them, oh no, they asked me, they were like, oh, like, are you ready for this, exam or whatever? And I was like, not really. Like, I don't really care about it, which was, that's probably the first, I guess, reason to wanting to quit was like, I actually don't care enough.
Yeah.
And I was making a Facebook account, like a creator page to post my videos on. And I remember I had this video when I was maybe 17 and I used to do a lot of parodies like you. And remember Farmer Wants a Wife?
Yeah.
I did like a parody, Farmer Wants a Female.
A song or
Nah, it was
just like a skit?
It was like a Chris Lilly type skit
Yeah,
where I was
great.
portraying a character. And I was this like young guy on the show. I don't even know what sparked it, but I had one of my best childhood mates, Jack Walker, come over and help me film it. And it was great. It was like some of the most fun I've had.
Yeah.
And I was pretty lucky to grow up on a bit of property that Dad owned. So we'd go out there and it looked like the country.
So good.
So we filmed this video, Farmer Wants a Female, and I put it up on Facebook. And this was like a couple years after I'd uploaded it to YouTube. And it did quite well numbers-wise. And I was like, Facebook's the key.
Yeah.
'Cause you see all these other people, a lot of the Australian like pranksters back in the day, they were like blowing up on Facebook.
Well,
And I was
even
like, that's it.
Even at that time, Elliot Loney, Frenchie, like Alex Williamson, Luke Kidgel. I remember Luke Kidgel and Elliot Loney sort of coming through and like watching them develop, and they all just got huge Facebook following. So it was like a place where your 5-minute YouTube like horizontal video could sit and perform well.
Yeah. And you see it's declined, but there's still a space for it for a particular type of content. Like I'll scroll past something and it's got 5 million views and I'm like, damn, like I'm not like on Facebook much at all anymore. I don't know if you are. Like I don't think a lot of people are on it much anymore. But yeah, no, it was a space where people could just prosper and flourish. And I saw that and tried to do it. And then I just was like, oh, I didn't have one piece of content that I was locked onto. Like you were heavy, like sport-centric, mainly footy.
Yeah.
Whereas I was trying to do so many things at once. So I was doing parody songs. I was doing backyard cricket videos.
Well, I remember that blowing up for you.
Yeah.
Like I remember your backyard cricket series on YouTube, probably on more views now, but at the time in like 29, well, even before 2019, it was on like 70,000 views. And I was like, oh my God, this is unreal.
Yeah. So like, and I say this to this day, like if I had have kept going with the backyard cricket stuff, I could have been top 3 backyard cricket accounts in the entire world, right?
Yeah.
Because I was on a trajectory of like, okay, I'll get better cameras, I'll get better players in.
I'll get DRS.
Yeah, I'll get DRS. The editing, because I was cutting down hours and hours and hours of footage. So it took a long time. And then I also started the pool cricket series, which was backyard cricket next to a pool. And my God, did that get some hate comments.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, as soon as you get onto the Indian, Pakistan algorithm, and they're very passionate about cricket. Right? It's their main sport. So the hate comments just came thick and fast.
Did that turn you off it?
Not really. Like I didn't really mind the hate comments because I knew it came from a place of passion from them.
Yeah.
It wasn't I hate you as a person. It's I hate your technique off the back foot. Or
Off
like
the ball.
your cover drive isn't pretty enough. It's not Bubba Azam-esque.
Yeah.
Or it's not Virat level. And like for me, I was just a kid having a crack. Like, but no, I love doing those videos. But at some stage, I grew out of it, and I was like, I don't really want to do it anymore.
The sports stuff, or like the YouTube, or like the skits?
Mainly just the backyard cricket stuff.
Yep.
And I think as I started uni, I kind of tried to mature a bit and be like, oh, no, like I'm going to put that like video making stuff on the back seat for now.
Yep.
And just focus on my studies, which was just me kidding myself. Like I was never really going to crack it. And like I did try at uni.
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was doing, so essentially I just was like, oh, I'll be a sport teacher.
Yeah.
I think that was, if I just did a normal life, led a normal life, that would be me. I'd just be a sport teacher and I'd do it and I'd be okay. Like I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't like love it. Right. So I didn't get a high enough ATAR score to go straight into sport teaching, which
I got to go the long way around.
I had to do sport science. So I just did.
So what did you have to do that for a year to then do a couple subjects?
It was a weird system. So I had to do 6 months of like a bridging course, which is bridging the gap between high school and uni.
Yeah.
And then I did 6 months of sports science, and then I moved unis, and I did sport teaching for half a lecture, and then I walked out of the lecture halfway through because I had an epiphany. And it was, well, this isn't me. What am I doing?
An existential crisis.
Well, there was a section within the lecture about using social media as a teacher, right? And it was essentially a no-go. Like, you don't want your students seeing what you're doing. You should be on private so no one can see what you're doing.
Yep.
And I was like, hang on, I've started this podcast with my best mate. We're talking a lot of shit on there. I've got a backlog of all these videos taking the piss out of the world.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good look if I was to become a teacher. So it was like, I went up to the lecturer as I was leaving because there was a little break. And I just said, look, I've got a social media account. I don't know if I'm fit for this. And then they were like, oh, well, you should keep trying. Like, this might be what you want to do. Like, you're here for a reason. And I was like, this is a bit fucking culty.
Yeah.
What's going on? You're trying to keep me here at
You
uni.
signed your life away, mate.
So I walked out, and I remember having the chat with mum and dad, who have been super supportive. Like, I'm really lucky because a lot of other people wouldn't, get that, I guess, permission granted to leave uni and just...
that's hard.
Yeah.
Like, convincing the parents, especially for social media.
Yeah, but social media wasn't really my selling point because it wasn't going that well.
True.
It was more so, I'm just going to work and just do some shitty jobs to get some money and figure out what I want to do. To this day, I don't know exactly what I want to do, right? And it was the podcast for a long time. So nearly 6 years I did that with Dyl. Started off as just like, Dyl, come along, let's do this. It took a little bit of convincing. I had to say to Dyl, look, mate, this is something, podcasts are doing really well right now. This was 2019, like you mentioned earlier. It's something that I think that we'd be good at. Like, I can kind of run the show. You can be the funny guy. Because in school, he was hilarious.
Yep.
And I knew that he would be great value on the show. And if he was to say something a bit crazy, I can just edit it out. Or I can bleep something. So, like, we had a good system. Dyl agreed to come along and do it for a few episodes. And that was kind of like I said, please try it a few times. And I felt like there was something there. There was enough there for him to be like, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. And then the rest was history. We did some awesome things. So
it's pretty cool for you to identify that there was a little bit of magic between yourselves. So obviously we're chatting about the Jamo and Dyl podcast. You had tried various amounts of content over a number of years, and then you dialed in on the potty. And like, I remember the first time you were announcing it, and I remember the first few episodes, and then I remember when you changed your YouTube name to Jamo and Dyl. And the thing that like innovated and blew the podcast up, but also was one of the first times I'd seen anyone do it, was you started just spamming clips on TikTok. And this is 2019. I'd literally, like, TikTok really wasn't that big of a thing. And I'd never seen anyone do that before. And then the TikTok became a thing on its own. That obviously helped bring viewers in for the podcast, but the TikTok became like a phenomenon.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Welcome back to podcasting, mate. You're home.
I am.
This
It feels
is where
awesome.
you're meant to be.
So it's funny you mentioned that because we, in like the least arrogant way possible, we feel like we kind of pioneered that in a way.
100%.
By accident. So essentially, we were doing the podcast and we were at our mate's place, Josh Rognetta, and he became a big character on the show because he's like short fella, weaselly, nasally, like he became like a cult hero and became one of the, I guess, biggest content pieces of our show where we could always refer back to him and our listeners would take the piss out of him and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
And now they see him in the street and everyone knows who he is and it's awesome. I think he hates it a little bit. But I reckon he likes it.
Yeah, I'm not sure Weasley is something someone would like.
Oh, we were horrible to him on the show. Like, I'm not going to shy away from that. But we're horrible to him in real life too. So
Everyone has one.
Some
of
would
those
say
mates.
it's authentic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were at Josh Rognetta's place. Dyl, myself, Josh, and we'd heard about TikTok, and I was old fashioned, like a fucking 50-year-old. Oh, it's just chicks dancing, mate. I don't want to look at this. I don't need it. And then I saw that people were posting normal content on there. And I thought that it was because it was from Musical.ly or whatever, that it was just people singing and dancing. And I had no interest in it. So then we downloaded the app. We're at Rog's place. And he goes, and Dyl goes, let's just try it. Like, let's do a video, just a joking one where he was like shaking his ass or something.
Yeah.
And within about half an hour, it had 8,000 views or something. Wow. So I was like, and this is the analytical social media brain that you and I both have with numbers and stuff. It's, hang on, I've just got 8,000 views in half an hour, whereas I'm working my ass off to do a long form video that's getting 400 views. Yep. So there was something in it. So I guess Dyl and I saw that, and Dyl in particular, he gets all the credit for posting the first clip. And it was barely edited. It was just a horizontal clip that we just cut out from the podcast and threw it online. And it was a little bit controversial, but it's also funny as well. Like, we just left school. And it was the younger sister is always hotter theory. so it was in high school, you've got two sisters.
Yep.
And the younger one's always hotter. It sounds crazy to say now, as we're adults.
There needs to be a threshold of age, but just in general.
Of course. Yeah. But we were using it as in when we were at school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot safer to do all that because we were the same age.
Well, to back you in, I am dating the youngest of the family, and is the younger sister.
Okay, so what are you saying about the others?
I didn't anticipate.
You've dug yourself into a little hole there, you badger.
I didn't anticipate the follow-up, but I'm sort of leaning into the theory that...
Yeah, and I think you're going to cut that out.
I probably should.
Yeah, you've dug yourself a hole there.
Great theory, though. It checks out.
Anyway, so Dyl posted this clip about the theory, and we said, oh yeah, about 80% of the time it's right. And then on the show, we went through all the people and just blurred out their names, beeped them out. And it was just a funny clip that got about 250,000 views. That was the first clip we ever posted. And we were like, okay, well, let's do this all the time.
First clip. Man, TikTok had like the ability to really capture an audience quickly back then. Like now I find it very difficult on TikTok. But the ability to just try some stuff on that platform and the platform sort of reward the effort of trying was super exciting. I can relate to your view on TikTok in terms of I thought people posted TikTok content to TikTok. So it took me like probably 2 years of being on the platform. I'd chuck up a dance. I'd chuck up like cringy stuff thinking that, oh, this is my TikTok video. And it wasn't for maybe 2 years that I realized, oh man, I can post like clips of my YouTube or other skits or stuff that I wouldn't refer to as TikTok content on TikTok. So, like, did you guys have inspiration from anywhere? Obviously, you know, at this time, your Joe Rogans were still fit and firing and whatnot, and they were posting clips on YouTube. And I reckon your Jack mates might have had a couple. Like, there was definitely other pods out there, but was there anything that grabbed your eye to go, oh, cutting up TikToks, cutting up clips from the pod and putting it on TikTok is a thing? Like, what made you pull that trigger?
So it was genuinely just the fact that we saw like shitty little videos with no effort were getting views.
Yeah, wow.
Why not throw up a clip? So yeah, I guess we didn't have any inspiration to do that. We had inspiration to do the podcast, like Hamish and Andy, obviously an inspiration for a lot of Australians our age. And I guess we saw them traveling the world and, you know, like the gap years they used to do and stuff. And that was inspiring to us. Like if we can use the podcast to get to that level to do that, that would be awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, in terms of posting the clips, it was just, I think we just accidentally fell into it and then it became a thing. And then
I'd never seen it done before. And I'm trying to think if I'd seen like, you know, I'd literally never seen it done before. And I couldn't believe, well, I could, but like it was unbelievable that it sort of unlocked the ability for podcasts to grow, because to grow a podcast back in 2019, you had to have 150 episodes and really grind and collaborate with guests and maybe cut down your pod to YouTube clips like Joe Rogan would into 8-minute bites and really just like endure to get there. But you unlocked this ability to like gather an audience on a different platform And almost it becomes a billboard for your podcast, and you can move the needle a lot quicker.
Yeah, it was a fast track. It's like a travelator at an airport.
Yeah.
But you're running. It was like we're running on the travelator.
Yeah.
Get that extra speed. It was awesome. And it was, like you said, a fast track way to get listeners. So our audience went from, let's say, 500 listeners a week to 3,000, 4,000 in no time.
Yep.
And then at our peak, it was like 12,000 people a week were listening to every episode, which was great. And then it took us to like so many different places in terms of experiences we never thought we'd have. Being in Perth, like you're always dreaming, but being in Perth, it's kind of restrictive, and you'd feel that way being down in Geelong as well. Like you have dreams of like meeting these people, doing these things. Like imagine doing an episode with him or whatever. And then when it all starts happening, you're like, there's a little bit of imposter syndrome because you don't expect it to be you. But then when it is you got to be like, all right, we're made for this, or like we deserve to be here, which is, I guess, one of the mental things which is different for everyone. Like some people are very laid back and they just be like blasé about it. But for me, it was like really intense. It was, you have to...
But you've caught lightning in a bottle. You want to keep the momentum. You know that numbers come and go. You know that the quality's like... Was that what was intense about it?
That, and also convincing yourself that you deserve that. Because it happened so quick. It was like, we've been working hard and we've grinded away for a year and a bit before any of this happened. Like it was probably... I reckon a year and a half we did the podcast before it started to go like... and a real upwards trajectory. We put in the hours, but then I was thinking about some of the people who have done it for 10 years and haven't gotten anywhere, and I was like, wait, do I deserve it? But then you got to convince yourself you're good enough, that your clips are good enough to bring people in. And I saw the whole TikTok game as fishing. So you throw out the bait, and then if they take the bait, they'll want more, and then they'll hang around your boat for more, like, you know what I mean? So it was... I guess, one of the things that I always think about when I think back to it was because it was so new, podcasting in 2019 for, I guess, the new wave of podcasts. Because like you said, Rogan was doing it. There were plenty others as well. I know Dill Buckley did one. He started Dyl and Friends before 2019 as well. And that was an inspiration too, just seeing another Australian jump into that world. One of the things was... because it was so new, we didn't know how to navigate it. So every time that a brand approached us, we didn't have representation, so we didn't know what to price ourselves at. There were so many opportunities that we, I guess, squandered or didn't know how to navigate, where financially it would have been more beneficial, which keeps the lights on, keeps us making good videos. We can upgrade cameras, we can do all that stuff. Because early days, every piece of money we made wanted to just go straight back into the show to make things better, to make it like worthwhile and lengthy enough to be sustainable. The learning on the go was the hardest thing for Dylan and I. It's great because it keeps you on your toes, but we just didn't know enough about the industry and didn't have anyone helping us, which was a hard thing because we looked at a lot of people around the world who had a producer, had a cameraman, had editors, but we were just doing it all ourselves. So, we probably missed the mark a few times with not knowing enough. But that's just life and that's learning. Man, this is what I love about the podcast. There's so much I want to jump on that you've just said. Like, firstly... jump on it all. Yeah, I will. I'm not even over imposter syndrome, and I don't know if I ever will be. And I don't know. It's something that like I'd love to get a hold of, but... you need to see a psych, man. I am. Just to iron out a few things. Yeah. Wait, you are? Yeah, I. So years ago, I saw someone. And I didn't say that as a joke. That was genuine, like. But it was so bluntly said that I liked how humorous it could have come across. So it was like it was good advice, but also I found it funny. But genuinely, like, maybe not for the imposter syndrome, because I think that I don't know if that's addressable. I feel like that's just like unavoidable in this industry, but. I've seen someone before for anxiety. Felt like I conquered it for a little bit. And now I'm like, I got a bit of burnout at the end of last year. So I'm rolling the sleeves up and going again.
yeah, maybe, I don't know. I feel it's hard. It's hard to, like, there's always a bigger fish. There's always stuff you can improve on. When I make content, I've never made a perfect video. Like, I'll watch a video and I go, oh man, that graphic should have come in earlier. And that framing wasn't right. And I cut that off a little bit earlier. So, you know, maybe I've made videos that I think are a 9.2, but there's never been a 10. And that's just through time pressure or maybe some budget.
There never will be.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you like, and I'm no psych, but like you need to find comfort in a 9.
Well,
which is hard.
I love analogies, and it's probably analogies that have kept me going, but Damien Hardwick / Craig McRae embrace imperfections.
Yeah.
And there's another quote. Oh man, we're getting into real podcast territory here, but there's another quote. It's to be great, you got to be consistently good.
Yeah, yep.
But like the imposter syndrome comes from, like we look at Hamish and Andy or anyone who's been successful and you go, fuck, they were perfect the whole time. But then I think of Hamish and Andy, they were on drive radio 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for a number of years. There would have been 5-minute bits of content that they would have done, chucked up and gone, fuck, that was a bit shit, but it just got us through to the hour.
Yeah.
So once again, it's not about being perfect every time. It's about to be great. You just have to keep showing up and be at a consistently good level. But have you managed the imposter syndrome a little bit more, or since like losing the identity of the pod, has it crept up or flared up anymore recently?
No, I've grown to understand it, and I guess as I've gotten older, just reflected a lot more, and I understand, like, the more people I've met within the industry, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of dickheads who are just very unlikable, different to what they are on camera, but majority of people you meet, and Grace and I always laugh about this because I always just say I'm a normal person, right? And she always goes, oh, you and this normal person crap. Like, it just sounds so like such a cop-out. But most people you meet within the industry are normal people who are just doing well at what they do.
Well, I think that's where some of the imposter syndrome comes from is I do feel like a normal person.
Yeah.
Like someone the other day said, oh, I didn't think you'd notice this because you've got a big following. And I'm like, mate, I've clawed for 10 years and sort of got 10 odd thousand a year. Like it's not like I woke up and I had 100,000 and I felt like oh great, I've made it. It's like, because you sort of get 10,000 a year, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like a big following. But someone said that the other day and I'm like, oh, I do not view it like that at all. But yeah, I think because I do feel normal, I walk into rooms and there are some people in the creative industry that like carry themselves like artists and rock stars, and they've got a bit of aura. And because I do, like, I love my craft and I love creating the content I create, but when I walk into rooms, I just feel like the bloke from Geelong.
Yeah.
One thing that reassured me, because I would sit there and I'd be like, man, I am not Eddie Maguire when I walk into rooms. I don't feel like I carry a presence. I don't feel like, and I don't want to. Like, I'm not going to try and puff the chest out. It's just not who I am. And then I'd second guess, like, does that mean I'm not really cut out to be this bulletproof media performer? You know, there's comment sections that get to me. I get disappointed when content doesn't do well. But Dan, who's on the DOS pods, and I hope he lets me say this, but he worked at Channel 10 for a while. And he said when Rove would walk into the room, everyone knew it. And that's that sort of person I think is more consistent of creators and like famous people. Like there's a bit of presence, a bit of aura. But he said on the flip side, when Sam Pang walks into a room who's equally as famous, equally as talented, he's quite quiet, unassuming, just goes about his business. And then when the lights are on, he turns it on. And that was the first time that someone in the entertainment business I could sort of relate to. Like, I feel like I walk into a room pretty unassuming. You know, you put a light and a camera on and I'll rip it to shreds and try and be as entertaining as I can, but I don't walk in needing to prove myself before that point. But that's where a lot of the imposter syndrome had come from. It's like I couldn't identify other people in the industry that I felt like I could relate to.
Yeah, but I think the funny thing is there would be a lot of people exactly the same as you that you just wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like they would feel the same. And I'm the same on a, I guess, smaller scale. Like, I'm an anxious person. I might not come across that way in any way, shape or form, but I've had many moments in my life where I've broken down, anxiety attacks, stuff like that. And it's like, it's not easy, but it's also, once you get that sense of belonging, which I feel like you should have because you do deserve it. And like, but you might not think that yourself, or...
Well, sometimes you feel like you've tricked them. It's like, people have watched because you edited out your shit parts, or people there is an innate sort of feeling that's like, they keep saying your parody song was good, but you just rhymed car with bar. Like that's not that impressive. Like there is that sort of critic within yourself.
Yeah, but you're creating entertainment content for people who are watching it and enjoying it.
Yeah.
And like, sometimes it's hard, I know, but like, you're listening to the 1%, and that's what's fucking with your head.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, you were mentioning how Hamish and Andy were perfection, right? For a lot of like their gap years and content that they produced at their peak, they might have thought that the day was a 6.5 out of 10.
100%.
But then the power of editing makes it look like it was the best day ever. It was awesome. Everything looks slick, schmick, ready to go.
Yep.
But they might have thought, that was a bang average day. So, yeah, I don't think anyone in the world is walking into a room doing something and going, that was 10 out of 10. Maybe there is, but I think they're sociopaths or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But, in general, like, I think you're completely, like, valid in everything you feel, but I think you're too hard on yourself.
Yeah, and something, and I appreciate that. I think it's just a trait in like people who do this, because unless you are like, because I sort of pick apart everything that I do for a living to make it better, and I think the content gets better off the back of that. But a negative byproduct of being a perfectionist or trying to make something as good as it can be is you notice the imperfections in yourself. But yeah, it doesn't like weigh me down that often, but it does. Yeah. It does creep in every now and again.
No one's perfect, mate. No one's perfect. But and like just touching on the mental health side before, it's something that I'm like super passionate about, because like there was a moment in my life where I sought help as well, and I spoke with a psych and had to iron out a few things just in my thinking and not overthinking. Like overthinking is just something that we do. I know that we both do. But
it's problem solving.
Yeah.
Right? And like for a lot of the job, it's like, why didn't this hit the algorithm? Is there something I can change? Can I change the intro? Is it the thumbnail? Is it the title?
Yeah.
So like I've been collaborating with Dan a lot recently. He's been helping with the edits, and I was telling him like per video, like I reckon I would make 1 million decisions.
Yeah.
In terms of like one decision would be, do we film Tuesday? Nah, maybe Monday. All right.
1 million is a lot.
It would be
1 million decisions.
It would be 1 million. Do we go Arvo? Do we go this ground?
Yeah.
All right. Do I bring a camera? Do you need to and then when you go in the edit, if it's like a 30-minute video, the whole time I'm going, should I bring this cut in here? No, I'll move it back there. No, I think it was better. And I so for a month, maybe it's not 1 million, but it would be upwards of 200,000. There's a lot of decisions, but that's almost, that almost comes into, like you are overthinking every decision, and it positively helps your content, but can negatively affect you.
For sure.
But it is a superpower. Like it's why the content is.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking the conversation about overthinking.
It's special though, because like per video, like you said, so you have 200,000, 1 million decisions, and every single decision changes how that video would look or end up. So it's like those choose your own journey books.
Yeah.
And you end up like going through the book and you go flip to page 17, then you're on page 34, and like you're just going through and creating your own destiny, but in your head, like, oh no, that's what's going to be best. But there was so many different. It's getting into all that like space, weird dimension talk.
What I love is, there's good and bad to all things. But on one hand, no one would fucking notice. No one's noticing. But if they don't notice, I feel like I've done a good job and made a good decision. Because I think if someone goes, fuck, that camera's a bit far out and we can't really, or that audio's a bit like shit, they should have had different mics.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of my 200,000 decisions that I have made that means that they don't notice it. So that's like a win.
You know what I've noticed over the years is no one who's consuming our content, and this is not a dig at us, it's just the facts. No one gives enough of a shit about what you're doing. So they care, right? So they care about what we're doing. They enjoy the videos, but the tiny little thing that you notice, they're not going to notice.
No.
And it maybe someone in the space might, but that's like a very, very minor number.
Yeah.
So really, like, we overthink all these things and make a million decisions. But at the end of the day, the people who are watching don't give enough of a shit to care about what you are caring about. So you don't really need to stress that much.
For sure.
But it is just something inbuilt into us where we want it to be as good as it can be or as perfect as it can be.
Well, that I want to get back to that. So back in the day, I had a mindset of catch and release. Like, I almost felt like I was Steph Curry on the perimeter. Just volume. Just get your shots up.
Yeah. That's like me on the punt. I'm a volume punter.
Yeah, like the more fishing rods you've got, the more chance you win. But in the last 18 months to 2 years, because it has been harder to craft a video that I enjoy creating, like a goal kicking challenge, I've said this before, but it used to be one camera, one mic, and we'd film for 20 minutes. And now it's 5 cameras, 5 mics, 5 blokes, and we're filming for an hour and 20 minutes.
Raising the bar.
I've got to get that down to 20 minutes, and the graphics have to be cleaner. And it's just gone to another level. So it just takes longer. It would take me a month to create something that I'd almost create in a week. So now it is taking a month. It doesn't feel like I'm a volume shooter just getting shots up. It feels like every shot I have is a game winner.
Yeah.
So when I miss, I go, fuck, this was a very important shot.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I'd miss, it'd feel like it's in the first quarter. I'm just going for a layup. Yeah. So I want to get back, and I've heard other creators talk about this before, how like main channels get so big and they want to have the content be perfect that they start second channels and they get back to what they were good at. So I almost want to make the channel what it was back in the day where, I still have those high-end product.
More Caden McDonald.
Pieces of content. Yeah. Cados Plus. But now, like, I'm not going to start a new channel, but I want to get this current channel back to getting more shots up, just getting in the face of the audience more and being a little bit more consistent with that because, as you said, like, I don't know, like, chucking out consistent 6 out of 10 videos is probably better for the audience than chucking out very little 10 out of 10. And 10 out of 10s don't exist.
Yeah. I think the audiences that we build are invested in the person as much as the content. So they just want to see you.
Yeah.
And if that is a 7 out of 10 you, they'll still be happy.
For sure.
But if you're down in the dumps and it's a 2 out of 10 you, maybe you'll get some messages saying, hey, mate, you okay?
Well, comment down. You can comment on the Spotify now. So if I'm a bit down in the dumpster in the app, whack it down below.
Yeah, we have gone quite deep.
And I'll address it. Going back to the potty, so at the height of Jamo and Dyl, the numbers were crazy. Almost 500,000 followers on TikTok, thereabouts.
Yep.
And then obviously some people that we grew up watching in the space reached out and collaborated and came on the pod. Now, just to insert myself into this story for no reason, but when I started making YouTube content and watching Luke Kitchell blow up on Facebook, he mentioned on a pod that he was a D supporter. So I contacted him. He had 20,000 subscribers at the time. I think I had about 10. And we did a video on the Ds, just chatting about how shit it was to be a D supporter. And shortly after that, he collaborated with who are the twins from South Australia? The Rucka Rucka twins.
Yeah.
So he collaborated with the Rucka Rucka twins. And like 6 months after that, the Rucka Rucka twins were on Logan Paul's YouTube channel. So in my head, I went, man, I just collabed with Luke, who collabed with Rucka Rucka, who collabed with Logan Paul at their peak. I'm 4 degrees of separation away from being in Team 10 or being in LA. And I think, like, obviously you broke through the four degrees because Joe Sugg reaches out and goes, boys, like, your clips are hilarious. I love listening to the potty. Whenever I'm in town, because he frequents Perth, I'll come on and have a yarn. Like, getting that message or him reaching out, what was that like?
Unreal. And it happened a few times, which is like incredible. So it shows like the power of those clips going out and reaches all corners of the world.
Yeah.
But no, the Joe Sugg one was weird because, grew up watching his vlogs and, it was like inspiring. Thatcher Joe on the roofs.
Well, at one point, Joe Sugg and all the English YouTubers were the height of YouTube. Like, they were what everyone was chasing for like a 5-year period. Like, they were the yardstick. And like, you know, me and you making backyard cricket videos, we're doing some footy quizzes or whatever. And all of a sudden, like a few years later, the yardstick and the pinnacle and the person who was leading the peloton is reaching out going, fuck, you're making good stuff.
Yeah. No, it was really surreal. So yeah, we got a message from Joe basically just saying like, hey boys, I've been listening to you on my drives through the countryside. Like, my partner Diane is from Perth, or from down south, like a few hours from Perth, and it's just like he's listening to his mates, but like if he had Australian mates. So that was really surreal, and we got him on for like a Zoom episode during COVID, because he couldn't come over at that stage, and obviously we didn't have enough money to fly over there and do it. But the real full circle moment was we did that episode. It was awesome. Grace really liked that one because she grew up watching them as well.
Yeah.
And loves Zoella. And yeah, no, so that was a real cool moment. And then full circle, a couple of years later, Dylan and I took the podcast to England and did a few episodes over there. And he came down to our Airbnb to do an episode, and he's like,
that's fucked.
He's top 3 nicest people on earth. Like,
yeah.
One of the most authentic, kind-hearted people, and I couldn't say like any better words about him. He's just awesome. So he's a real, just a real person, but which was brilliant. So loved having him on. And then round 2 was the fellas.
Yeah.
So Cal Freezy and the Burnt Chip, they reached out to us, and I love this story. It's like one of my favourite stories of our journey. So we got a message on Instagram, and I remember I was playing pro clubs on FIFA with my mates. I was so like, I was pretty good. I was probably had 4 or 5 goals at halftime or something, and got this message, and I was like, holy shit! Like, they've reached out to us saying we're coming to Australia. We want you guys on the show. So that I was just like, oh, I think I got a stiffy straight away. It was crazy. And then,
that'll put you off pro clubs.
no, it gets me even more excited. Scored a few more after that. No. And then Dyl was in Thailand at the time on a trip with his missus. I think he went to Europe. He loves doing this. He'll go on a trip and then he'll end it in Asia in like a tropical island.
Yeah, you got to land the plane.
It's such a Dyl thing. Yeah. It's awesome. And I remember I think I messaged him and said, holy fuck, like I need to call you. And I called him, and he was on a balcony at a Thai hotel. And I told him, and he was like, no way. Like, it was just such a cool moment where everything that we'd done felt right. That like we'd put ourselves in this position through all the hours of editing, filming, and got that opportunity. And then doing that podcast and coming to Melbourne was probably another big factor as to why I ended up moving here, because we just had such a good time. We also went to the Brownlow, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I bumped into you that week. You've had one hell of a week. We went to the Brownlow After Party, which I guess we can touch on a little bit later.
Yeah. Fuck it, let's touch on it now.
All right, let's touch on it.
So essentially, Dylan and I came over for the podcast.
And this is a couple of days before or a day before you're about to go and do the stuff with Cal Freezy.
Yeah, so we landed, Brownlow's on a Monday, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So we landed Monday afternoon, and we saw that List Cloggers, rest in peace.
RIP.
They were doing a live show at Crown.
Yep.
So obviously where the Brownlow's held, at the Crown pub. So, and then they put a story up saying, oh, wear like your shittest suit. So Dylan and I got off the plane, went to our hotel, went straight to like Connor to get like a cheap suit, which worked out perfectly in the end. That was like just 360 moment. Anyway, so we got the suits, got dressed, went to the List Cloggers event. Good fun. You were there. A couple of the other lads were there. And then we went into like the casino after, and obviously you know Tommy Mitchell, so you went off with him, and then we won some money as well, you and I, that night.
Yeah, I'm not great at gambling. I think you and the Sheps as well.
Yep.
Were they there?
Yep, they were.
They were. Yeah. So we were just in at Crown. We'd watched the List Cloggers event. I think I'd done some stuff with ball magnets on the Brownlow. We're all in suits. We're all just at the casino, and Tommy Mitchell and Cripper had just won, and Tommy Mitchell was texting us saying, I'll get you into the after party, and then just didn't reply for an hour and a half. So we all just sat on the slots, which you're a weapon at. I thought slots was like a fluky game, but you know what you're doing.
I wasn't on the slots.
You're on some sort of...
No, it was... it wasn't slots.
But it was a machine where you're pressing buttons? No, what was it?
I think it... No, it was the wheel. It was the spinny wheel, I'm pretty sure.
Roulette.
No, the actual... You know the wheel that you spin and then it lands on... Doesn't matter.
I've got no idea.
We won loads of cash.
Yeah, so we're sitting there at Crown and I'm going, look, Tommy hasn't replied for an hour and a half. You know, we're obviously not going to this after party or whatever.
Just bear in mind, this was an invitation for you because you know him. So Dylan and I weren't involved at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think I was like lowering expectations where I'm like, look, I don't know what the go is, but we might be going, but I'm not sure. Anyway, we were sort of almost close to calling it, and we're walking through Crown, and Tom and was it another Hawthorn player? I think another Hawthorn player, like a Hardwick or Sicily, or I don't know. Tom and a couple of Hawthorn players walked through with their partners, and Tommy goes, "Boys, what's going on?" I'm like, "Tommy, I've been trying to text you." He's like, "Come with me," and I go, "Oh well, we got Sheps and we got Jamo Dyl." Did we depart at that point? Yeah,
so I remember it was like a movie. You guys were walking away and getting smaller and smaller off into the distance, and Dylan and I were just looking like, fuck, there goes our night. Yeah. Because we wanted to kick on or do something, but we knew that it was coming to an end at some stage. The night had been too good to be true. It was great fun. Hanging with you boys was awesome. And then, you guys went off into the distance, off to the after party. And I remember...
Was there a... try and come in with us, or we're going to try and come in, or it was sort of like...
It was more so...
It's going to be impossible for us to get in.
We don't know Tom Mitchell at all. So we didn't intrude on that. We just let it happen. We're not going to... Mate, can we come in, please?
Yeah.
He doesn't even know
And
us.
I felt like, because I was sort of vouching for the Sheps, Rogie was there, it felt like we're not going to get in, let alone, can 6 other blokes get in?
Oh, yeah, no. Like, I had no expectations at all. It was just... the sadness watching you guys walk away into the promised land while we were just sitting at like these machines just watching it. And Dylan and I were like, well, we had a good run. It's been a good night.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of flirting with the idea of just leaving, just going back home because we had a couple big days planned. And then we kind of just said, let's just walk past where all the music's coming from because we know that that's where the after party is. And we walked past and Razor Ray's just walked out. I got a photo with him and he was actually really nice. And then we're like genuinely beginning to walk out of the venue, and then we hear Jamo and Dylan, and it's this girl who's walked out of the after party, who had worked for NAB and the AFL, right? Who was a listener of the podcast.
Holy fuck!
She was leaving. She had 2 wristbands. She said, "Boys, I love what you do. I'm a big fan. I know you love the footy. Do you want to go in?"
Oh,
so we walked around the corner, did the wristband exchange, and then we looked at the security guards and they were huge. And I was like, fuck. Dill goes, I reckon we can like play it off and just be confident and pretend you're like small forwards, right? so we walk in there pretending that we're like small forwards and just like wink at the security guard like pricks, like just walking in like we own the joint. And when we got in, it was like this elation. Like we were like, oh my God. And then I see you boys speaking with like Gus Brayshaw, Andy walks in, and obviously I'm a Freo man, so seeing Andy Brayshaw was awesome. And then I think because we were pretty pissed, like I went up to him and I said, mate, I know you love Skepta. I'm a big Skepta man myself. And then I said, what's your favourite Skepta song? And he goes, Konnichiwa. And then he starts rapping it. So then I start rapping it with him, and it was like this moment where we were brothers. Haven't spoken since, but it was just this awesome time. And then that night, hours and hours of just free drinks. Asahi's one of my favourite beers now because they sponsored the event, and it's just such like a great moment in my life. And that night was crazy. You have a lot of fun?
Oh, it was ridiculous. Like, had some imposter syndrome that night. I'm walking in, and it's like it's the Brownlow After Party. So anyone from the industry is in there. Like, you're walking, Gillon McLaughlin and all the big wigs are to the right, BT and all the commentary teams are to the left because they've just done the broadcast. Past winners, past greats, like all the players that got invited are just there. One of my favourite moments was I'm standing at the bar, and Tommy Mitchell said that when he started playing against Clayton Oliver, he couldn't stand him because on the ground he was like an aggressor and, you know, would talk a bit of shit. And then Tommy said years ago he bumped into Clary at an event, and he's one of his favourite people of all time. So I'm standing at the bar. Tommy comes over, puts his arm around my shoulder, taps Clary on the shoulder, turns around and goes, "Clary, can you give this guy a little bit? He loves you." And Clary goes, "Oh, what's going on, man?" And we were chatting about the Ds. Clary pulls out his phone, takes a selfie with me, and sends it to me on Insta and follows me on Insta while I'm standing there. Like, little ruffle of the head, and walks off into the crowd. I'm like, oh my God, I love you, Clayton. One of the other moments was we're on the D floor, and I don't really know anyone there. Like, the Sheps were really good because they played some VFL. They'd popped off heaps. I think it was 2022. So a lot of the players were coming up going, "Oh, boys, you're playing a bit of footy." But we're on the D floor, and I might get the name wrong, but I reckon Jack Steele bails you up. And he was like, "Lads, I'm a massive fan of the Jamo Dyl pod."
Yeah, and then that was awesome. We talked with Jack Steele for 45
He's a D
minutes.
now.
Yeah, he is. We talked with him for like 45 minutes, and he gave us everything and more. He was awesome. And then, like, we're talking conspiracy theories. We're talking like things that we've talked about on the show. That was a really cool moment. And Dill's mum is a big Saints fan, loves Jack Steele, loved Jack Steele.
Yeah.
So we sent her a photo, and she was even more excited than we were. Like, that was a cool moment. And then other guys that had listened to the show or seen a few clips, like, bailed us up as well. And it was a really surreal moment just knowing, like, we were mixing it with them. We did get a few, "How the fuck did you get in here?" Like, just from players, like, jokingly, like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And I typically responded with, "I don't fucking know either." Like, we've just ended up here, which was pretty cool. But yeah, that was one of the all-time nights that I'll tell people for a long time. And it's like those memories and things that you do in life that you'll hold on to and appreciate life for when it's nearly all said and done.
I knew at the moment I'm never going to be here again. And we had to do a grand final clubby podcast the next day. So I was really walking the tightrope between this is one of the greatest nights I've ever been a part of versus I've got a commitment tomorrow to do a massive grand final podcast for the whole company of producing for Dill Buckley. So, like, I was walking the tightrope. Rog, when he had a few back in the day, he would get the slipperiest of mittens where, like, glasses would just fall out of his hands. Like, that's when you knew Rog was getting a little bit pissed back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, you just hear a glass drop and you'd go, Roggie's at that level. And he has claimed multiple times that it was all just, like, individual moments. It's not a thing. He was trying to claim that, like, I got a little bit unlucky with this cup. I got bumped here. So he denies every time he drops a glass. He denies it. And one of the stories that I love is we're just standing around chatting to. I reckon Miles was chatting to Norton or a couple of doggies boys or whatever. And we're standing there chatting to LDU, and LDU goes to move but doesn't bump Rog, and Rog drops his glass, and LDU goes, "Oh my God, Connor, like, I'm so sorry. I'm getting you a drink. That's on me." And I knew that wasn't LDU. I knew that Rog had just let it slip. But LDU, he felt so bad. But he tried to make up for it. But that was once in a lifetime sort of stuff. And then 2 days later, you're on a pod with Kel Freezy.
I think it was the day after.
Jesus.
I
thought my pod was impressive the next day.
That's when you were saying it, I was like, hang on, that was the same as us. Like, we had to front up. I remember we set an alarm I think the podcast was like 2 p.m. or no, maybe like 4 p.m. Scheduled for 2. They got held up doing some other stuff and it got pushed back. And I remember they said, oh, like, and mind you, we drank a lot the night before and they wanted us to go to the Bottle-O, buy heaps of Australian drinks to drink them on the show. And we were like, fuck, it's the last thing we want to do, but we have to do everything in our power to make this worthwhile.
Yep.
So we rock up, legends. The team that they have there were great, from like management to cameramen. Like, so that was awesome. The show went really well. It was a really long one, like 2 hours, maybe a bit over. Great though, and like we were drinking the whole time too. So some stuff got cut out. I remember Chippo said something crazy, and we had to cut that one out, or their editors did. But no, it was awesome. That was a great experience. And then what made it even better was it was either that night or the night after they had an event, and then we went out with them, did karaoke, just got pissed. Like it was awesome. So no, some great memories with them. And then when we went back to England, we went to their studios, and it was a funny time because it was a few days before they were relocating to a different studio setup. But what they had was incredible. Getting to see all their sets, behind the scenes stuff was awesome. Like, so yeah, I'm very grateful for being able to do that. But then our show ended a few months later, so what's the point?
Well, you mentioned before we started chatting about like the trip to Melbourne and whatnot, you mentioned that like from the business aspect, you felt like you were a little bit behind. Yeah. And that's something that I can vouch for massively. Like I feel like I've been working on the craft of the art form. I like that, I think expressing yourself, even though it's on social media and it's not in a symphony, I think it is an art form. But I've been addicted to the craft of that and perfecting that. That when brand deals and stuff came in, it was the last thing on my mind. And I'm still catching up on the business side. Like I'm only just starting to delegate some of the editing with Dan. I'm only just starting to bring
Shout out Dan, by the way.
Oh, just one of the great people. You'll hear him on next week's pod. He's on every second week. I'm still only just wrapping my head around it. And that's why like some of the people that can go far in this industry is if they are like 5 out of 10 with the content side, but 8 out of 10 from a brand perspective and how to run a business, they could sort of strap a bit of rocket fuel to what they're creating and sort of move it along quicker. But yourself and I, we're sort of working on the craft of the pod or whatnot, and you feel like you get left behind from a brand perspective.
Yeah.
Especially in 2019. Like there wasn't managements. Like now there's managements galore that do socials. There wasn't like a sort of template for brand deals and invoices and whatnot. It's
funny because like we had podcast management, so audio management where they could put ads in. We were with Nova Entertainment. They were great, but they didn't do much of the social stuff. So for the five or 6 years that we did it, we didn't have any brand deals through socials. So we left so much money on the table.
Social was enormous.
It was way bigger than the podcast.
Yeah.
It's 500,000 people, and especially the Who's Punching stuff was getting 1 million views per clip. So it was nuts.
Right now, if the pod was fit and firing, all your brand deals would be for your TikTok. Yeah. Almost. If you had 10 brand deals, 8 or 9 of them would be for your TikTok.
Yeah. And we got social management maybe 6 months, a year before we finished the podcast, maybe only 6 months before we finished the podcast. And then we started to get some deals at the back end and we were like, damn, we've missed out on a lot here. But I wouldn't would I change it for the world? Probably not. The experience we had was so cool. So I don't really want to be greedy and be like, oh, well, I wish we had this and I wish we had that, when what I had was something I'll hold on to forever. So still got to be grateful for what you had, even though it wasn't crazy financially.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you innovate a space and you're very early onto it. The space isn't ready for it. No. And
it's like if the footy ground's just been mowed, but there's no line markings or goals in yet.
Yeah. And you're like, how do we score in this game?
You can go and have a little run around and try, but it's not the same.
100%. So the pod, it ended end of last year. that would surprise like a lot of the diehards and a lot of viewers. Like me being in the industry for this long, I think pods and even shows have like a natural arc, and even like TV shows, like growing up, loved How I Met Your Mother. I think it had 7 or 9 series. I loved The Rub on Triple M with JB and Gary and Spud, and I think the peak of that lasted 5-ish years. Hamish and Andy had stints on radio for 5-ish years at a time. So I think that that's like a really natural lifespan of a show. But regardless, it would have been hard to let go.
Yeah, I've said to you and a lot of other people, and Dyl feels the same way. It was like a breakup, like a relationship breakup with a girl or boy or whatever you fancy. It just felt like that. So going through that took weeks and weeks to, probably even till now, like to feel normal again. Because
you feel normal because you got a mic in your hand now.
Yeah, I do. Finally,
you're back.
I'm back. But yeah, it was kind of just a natural thing that was happening that we could both kind of acknowledge. We didn't want to acknowledge it, but then there came a day where we just had to kind of cut loose and be free. Because like you said, it had a lifespan. That was its lifespan, and although it's unfortunate, because like we both had dreams of it being forever, but then things change and things happen, and But like a lot of people go, "Oh well, if you're still such good mates, why aren't you fucking doing it?" I'm like, well, that's not what it is. It's we value our friendship so much. Like we don't want to lose that. So we're not going to keep digging in with this show that, is coming to an end. So yeah, I've had so many questions since saying, "Oh, why'd you stop?" And I'm like, "Well, just listen to the last fucking episode." Wait, we addressed it all there. We talked about it for over an hour.
Just send them the link.
Yeah, and all these people just want it in a 60-second TikTok format. There's more to it than 60 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's because you've innovated and you made the clips so important. How's it felt? Like, I suppose the move to Melbourne would take your mind off it, and it gives you something to build and chase over here.
Yeah.
But to not have that platform or that weekly space to share stories and share yourself, like, how have you sort of accounted for that?
It's like I've had a muzzle on.
Yeah.
And like I'm in person, off camera, I'm not like super, super talkative. And like if there's 8 people at a table, I won't talk as much as everyone else. But I have missed that sharing with people just because it became a habit. Like I was doing it every week. People were invested, so it felt special. And it wasn't it wasn't fulfilling my ego. It was more of a therapeutic release for me every week. It was like I was getting what I would out of a therapist by just speaking every week. And maybe not even addressing like issues that were happening in life. It was more so just sitting there with my best mate, talking for an hour every single week. Not many people get the luxury of doing that. And we were doing that and getting compensated, albeit not much. But it was it was good and really special. So no, I'll never take it for granted, and I do want to get back into the space. On your question of moving here, I was thinking as soon as I moved here, inspiration would just come from everywhere, and I'd like know what I wanted to do. I'm not there yet, so yeah, it's great being around like-minded people who want to grow and do things in this space, and I think it'll help me grow as a person being here. Different experiences, being away from home. So yeah, like I said at the very start of the episode, we've come full circle again. I'm really looking forward to what's to come. Do I know exactly what I want to do, how I want to do it? No. But do I think it'll be with a microphone in front of a camera? Most likely.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think like in this industry, once you have something figured out, you quickly realize that you don't, because the platform will change or something will shift or the audience will grow, or so. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's a natural evolution of creating, but starting afresh can be really exciting.
Yeah.
And obviously moving over here, this is what I've found, is that there's just so many people having a crack at it, and so many people just trying to create, which is like a really awesome group to be around. You've linked up with Cheats from Type Media. I don't know if you can announce, he obviously posted something on Instagram the other day, and this isn't going out till Wednesday, but Are you doing a pod with him, or are you doing something with Cheats?
So that's really exciting. Like I said, opportunities over here come thick and fast. There's a lot going on, and if you put yourself in the right spots, you get lucky. So, yeah, lucky enough moving here, I've caught up with Cheats a few times, thanks to Checkers actually. He put in a good word for me, and Cheats actually didn't know much about me at all. He hadn't seen much of the podcast at all. So it's funny, he had to do his research after meeting me.
Send him a screenshot of you and Joe Sugg. Send him a screenshot of you and Cal Freezy, Jack Steele.
Yeah, but no, that's been cool. Obviously, big sport head, like a big reason for me moving here is I love sport. Just to be amongst it and be, I guess, in a culture that appreciates it. Perth does as well. Perth's a huge sporting state, but it just made sense to be here for many reasons, especially with Grace's work and whatnot. But linked up with Cheats, and he mentioned that he wanted to start a footy podcast that's not statistical, analytical. It's take the piss, have fun, lots of clippable segments and stuff. And Cheats' mind, like, I don't know if I've ever met anyone as switched on in that space of short form media ever. Like, he's a freak.
Yeah, he's got it down to a science. Like, people might think type media started last year or whatever, but type media has been around for a long time. So he's been honing his comedic craft and his editing for a long, like, it feels like that cliche of, like, I don't know, the 5-year overnight success is how I view Cheats. But he's poised to have a huge year. So do you know, like, how the pod will look, or like?
Yeah. So I don't know if I can say dates. No, but I can say, like, so it's called Typecast. It's a podcast produced by Type Media. Obviously, he's going to be a host every week. It'll be coming out every Monday after the footy weekend. So we'll be recapping the footy, but in a light-hearted, take the piss way. It's not going to be, this guy played well, that guy played well. It'll be a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. So just trying to be slightly different to a lot of the other analytical footy shows. And it was a great opportunity for me because, one, I don't have to edit, which I've been doing for years. And I can just rock up, be myself, do the episode, go home. So there's no real obligation for me to be thinking about it and doing it all week.
Nice.
He's got two rolling co-hosts. So it'll be myself and Cheats one week, and then myself and Sammy the next. So I've just met Sammy recently. So I'll be on every fortnight, and it's just a footy podcast, which is take the piss. Really looking forward to it though, because I think it's the perfect introduction for me to get back in that space, be in front of a big audience. I think the clips will do quite well. There'll be some stuff there which is going to get some traction and some people talking, I think. So I'm excited for that. But just a good introduction for me to get back in the space, because I'm comfortable in front of a camera and a microphone, but I don't know what I want to do with it myself yet. Yeah. So just to be a part of something that I think will be pretty good and be good for the footy community is really exciting. So
man, like, what a cool thing to land. Like, it's new, it's fresh, but it's in the space that you have a lot of runs on the board with. So it's like almost the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, it's come together beautifully, and very grateful for it. But I'm really excited. I think I'm sure you won't mind me saying this, we're going to film an episode next week after State of Origin, and obviously being a WA boy, I'll probably get a bit patriotic, even if we lose, which is probably a strong chance of happening. But I'm very excited to strap on the boots next week and get going.
Oh man, yeah, that's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see it. Like, what I loved about the Jamo Dyl pod back in the day was it did have little Hamish and Andy elements. And there was some segments that popped up even from early days where I'm like, this is really creative. Like this, like I did radio school and did radio work experience and was in and out of community radio shows and whatnot. And I was just a fan of radio for a long time. And you had segments that felt very radio-ish. And obviously, like, you would know what I'm talking about. But the Who's Punching, like, could you believe how big and wide and far that segment went?
Yes and no. I knew that it was going to be a good segment because it's controversial. I can't take credit for it because it was one of our listeners who actually sent in the idea, and we thought, it wouldn't work that well on a podcast because the visual element, a lot of our we had more listeners than viewers, so it's not going to work for that. And we did trial it on the podcast and it just didn't really work. But the clips were going massive. And I knew it would due to the riskiness of it and the fact that it was pretty brutal at times. But a lot of people didn't realise that everyone that was doing it was signing a consent form to say, like, these guys are entertainers. They're going to take the piss out of me. We did have a little thing. Once it's up, it can't come down. It's the internet. People might download it, save it. So be sure.
Yeah.
And we probably took down well over 100 clips.
Wow.
Due to some nasty emails, which...
That's ridiculous.
We could have been dickheads about it and said, no, you signed up for it, cop it.
We're going to put some ad spend behind it and get it more views.
But no, it was more like majority of it was good, but the after effects, the aftershock has been pretty brutal. So like on myself personally and just when we're walking down the street, we'll get it all the time. And I know that it comes with the game, but it's pretty full on. Like I'll be walking down the street. Sometimes I even catch the tram and someone will notice me on the tram on the way to work, fucking 7 a.m. in the morning. Oi, Jamo, you're punching your dog. And I'm like, dude, these people...
I didn't sign the consent form, brother.
No, I didn't. No, I'll take you to court.
So for people who aren't, I probably should have given context at the top, but so Who's Punching was a segment that you and Dyl would do. People would send in like a handful of photos.
Two consenting individuals.
Two consenting individuals would send in 4 or 5 photos for you and Dyl to decide who is punching out of the relationship.
Correct.
What I loved about the segment was you held back on what you could or would say. Like you weren't savage at all. You were being quite comedic. Like if you had references to what the person looks like if you said, oh, this person looks like Homer Simpson or whatever, like it was a genuine reference that everyone was thinking and you weren't being savage and you were towing the line. So I would find it so funny how much you were tiptoeing. And then sometimes Dyl might be a little bit more savage, but overall it was like this tiptoe around trying to rate these two people. Yeah. If you were harsh on someone on one photo and they got better, like there was this redemption arc that you would whip home as well. So it was done in great spirit. And as you said, these people have signed up for it. But man, it was just this funny, like walking on eggshells segment that people just frothed.
Towing the line is one of the funnest things to do. So like we would know we're getting close.
Yeah.
There was times I had to take things out, of course. Like we'd get a bit
carried away,
a bit giddy and think that we're like, we'd be a bit naughty. But once again, the people are signing up and 99% of the time, the people who wanted the videos taken down, it had nothing to do with what we were saying. It had to do with the comment section.
The comments.
People are rude and nasty and we know that. Like, I did a video with Grace and I wasn't looking my best. I was looking a bit bloated. Double chin was on show. Everyone said I had cankles, which was, I thought, a bit fucking harsh. And the video, it was just like, things that my girlfriend might not know or something like that. And it got like 5 million views, but probably 10 million views total.
That's
right?
crazy.
And I've got well over 1,000 hate comments, messages. Like, it was a brutal like month for me. Just every time I opened my phone, it was hate. It was like, sorry, got to bleep this out. Fat cunt. You fat cunt. Cankles. You don't deserve her. I'd be better with her. Like, it's just a lot of nasty stuff.
That's weird.
But I know how the internet is, and yeah, it affects me a bit, right? Because I posted that in good faith, just being like, this is a funny little video.
Yeah, lighthearted video.
Yeah, and you just get flamed just for appearance, which is crazy. It's the content of my character, no? That's why she fell in love with me.
Do you think this is off the back of the segment?
A little bit. No, it's definitely adds a bit of...
so you've sort of welcomed it a little bit.
Adds a bit of fuel to the fire. Because then, like, people will do a hate comment and then someone will comment underneath that and say... someone will say a nice comment like, oh, this comment section's so nasty, he seems like a nice person. And then someone will be like, yeah, but if you found out what he did... And I'm like, wait, what did I do? And then they're like, oh, he did a Who's Punching segment where he judged people, so let's judge him.
Yeah,
And I'm not going to bite back and say, well, there was consent forms involved.
Yeah.
It was an entertainment program. This is just a lighthearted video with my girlfriend. And my God, you're telling me to jump off a cliff.
Oh my God. Yeah, that is crazy. Well, I couldn't believe like there's Daily Mail articles about you, about
Yeah, that was funny.
your appearance.
Yeah, but that one I was approached about. That was really funny. So
So to give more context,
Yeah.
is that Grace models.
yeah. So Grace is very, very good looking. And I'm just, I'm okay.
I think you're a good looking man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just like your average, typical Australian bloke.
You're a normal bloke.
You're like, yeah, I'm just a normal guy. And it's just the discrepancy between myself and her, but it all stemmed from who's punching. So really, I've walked into a fist right into the schnoz. But yeah, so someone from news.com.au reached out and just said, hey, like I've seen all these nasty comments about you. Let's make it fucking worse. And I just thought, a bit of exposure for Grace and I just before we move over, it could be good. And good stuff, good content for the potty as well. Coming towards the end of the show, it was good to talk about. And I was consenting in the fact that I sent some voice messages back to this lady saying, I was just answering some of the questions she had. But then the title of the article was Australia's Luckiest Man. And I was like, fuck, if I was that lucky, I'd have $1 million. Like, I'm poor as anything, and I'm getting flamed on the internet for my appearance. And then what happened from that article is all the other outlets like Daily Mail picked up on it, and then 10 newspapers are posting it online, and then all the boomers are like in Facebook commenting, how's this news? He doesn't deserve her. And I'm like, mate, you're 60 with kids. Like,
God.
Anyway, yeah, it's been a weird journey in terms of having our relationship online so much, but it's just something that, I've adapted to, and it's just a part of our life now. So
Yeah, that's crazy. That's intimidating to hear. Like, I've been in a relationship for a while, and I find it hard enough to sort of protect myself, let alone protecting other people in the videos. So, like, Grace has her own platform and her own following, so at least she's knows how to navigate it. But it is a bit weird when you bring like a mate who is just a normal bloke, a punter in, and the top comment is like really savage. It's like, oh well, fuck, that sort of ruins it. Unless someone is a creator, I don't really want them to be in my content.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Dan
behind the camera is filthy.
He's not happy that unless you're a creator, you're in the space, mate. You're in the space. You're bulletproof. But I'd also jump in front of a bullet if it came for you in the comment section.
Well, here's a shock.
Yeah. Before we go, I want to chat a little bit of footy. So State of Origin this week, man, on paper, it looks like the Vicks should win comfortably, but I get the feeling, I think it's going to be a bit fake tough guy, where because they want to show that it means something. So I think they're going to pretend and sort of exaggerate
a bit of WWE action.
Yeah, how much it means to them. I think it'll be close to half time, and then I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer than what people think through design.
Yeah.
But how do you see the WA lads stacking up?
It's a pretty weak team on paper in comparison to the Vicks. Like the Vic team is stacked, right? There's quality in every position. There's no real weak links. There's players for both states that have been left out or can't play through injury, which weakens the teams a little bit. I think a few WA teams in past years would have been super strong. Like, I mean...
Yeah, 5.
Buddy Franklin.
Yeah, wow, true.
Jeremy McGovern. Like, there would have been a really good team there a few years ago. And I still think the team's good. Not sure exactly like how the game's going to be played. Is it just going to be a jokey type of thing? Is it going to be fake tough guy?
I reckon there'll be a lot of fake tough guy. There'll be a lot of I bet you see a lot of people grabbing the collar and
wrestling.
Not jumper punches, but sort of like pushing off. And the commentators will be like, see, this is what we're signing up for. But then when you see the contest, it will feel like a Feb 14 match.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of debate. I saw Max Gawn would like the game played the week after the grand final.
Man, I'm footied out by then.
Yeah, I think the players are too. Especially players who would be in those teams who finished 4 weeks earlier are on holiday. They don't want to play footy.
No.
So I don't think that's a good solution. I don't know what the solution is. I do want to see it have a resurgence because I've heard stories from everyone else. My dad used to love it.
Yeah.
And it was a true rivalry, but it's hard having it out and not played for so long. To bring that back is going to be difficult. But I would love to see it make a proper resurgence. But yeah, I don't know if this is the right way, doing it just before the season. But what's the solution? Middle of the season, like Origin?
I feel like this is the perfect time
You
for it. I also like how they'll take it to WA, like Perth.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Perth events. Like they've got the State of Origin as well. They'll take it to an Adelaide. Like I feel like footy can get oversaturated here. There's sometimes 5 games a weekend or whatever. And there's so many other events in Melbourne that when you bring something like State of Origin to Melbourne, it probably would get, like the G wouldn't be full. It'd get like 60, 65,000, especially in Feb. Like the Melbourne audience knows, hey, footy's coming in a month and a half. We don't need to go see these players. We see these players all the time. But I think it's smart from the AFL, one, to take events to Perth because they kill it, like a state-of-the-art stadium.
And Perth, the state government of WA are paying a lot of money to have it there. Because have you seen all the tourism WA promotional videos from the players? It's like they're all going to the nice beaches and pumping up the state, which is great to see because it's a great place to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of money being thrown at the players to be enticed to do it.
But then also is Optus will be packed.
No,
like
it's a sellout.
The Perth people like love their footy, and to get like back as we were speaking about 10 years ago, they wouldn't have taken the game to Perth. They probably just played at the MCG and have 55, 60,000. I don't think it would be. Yeah, I don't think it, and it's not a great spectacle. But Perth over in enemy territory, and it's packed to the rafters because the Perth people are craving sport, craving footy. They don't often get to see like these players that we get to see play all the time, like these superstars, because some teams don't play in Perth often. So yeah, I think it's just such a smart move to take it over there.
I agree. And one of the things that I was just thinking about is a little bit different from the fiery aspect of it, is more of a spectacle for the viewer. I would love for them to make 60,000 yellow shirts or something, just so it looks. Because it's going to be, what are you going to wear to the State of Origin? Not everyone has a WA jumper. Like it's such a rare piece of material to have.
True.
So I would love to see it if it's in Perth, the whole crowd be yellow. Because then at least it's like
that'd be cool.
You're in enemy territory, but the Vic boys will run out there and
it'll be a
people
neutral
in normal clothes, or people will be wearing their West Coast or Freo stuff.
I don't think WA fans are going to root for WA. Like I feel like they'll be like,
no, they will.
Do you reckon?
No, it's a super patriotic state.
That's sick. Then I think that creates a cool element to the game.
There's a part of me, and I'm like really defensive of WA because I love it. It's my home.
Yeah,
but I know how much it meant back in the day, and for a lot of the players, I think a lot of the WA players will care.
Yeah, and there is something to that. Like on one hand, like you're taking it to the Vics, but the underdogs, but also like such an isolated city. It's like you're very unified.
Yeah, and playing in front of their people.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be a fun aspect for the players playing with their mates that they played 18s with and stuff. They might have never thought they'd get that opportunity again. So I think there will be a bit of realistic stuff happen as well. I don't think it'll all be play fighting. I'd love to see someone run through someone. I don't want to see concussions and all that, but I'd love to see a bit of fiery nature.
See, I can't, if the Vics kick one, I can't see myself clapping. Like, I don't know. I don't really have like a...
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't think I'll be like, yeah.
I'm going to be like over the moon. So I think it's the one difference between WA and Victoria is because you've got 10 teams, right, in the state. It's very... you're defensive about your team and you protect them and you want them to do well. But in Perth, it's a 2-team city. Rivalry is ingrained into your being.
Yeah, true. So, that's cool.
So it's always one team versus the other team, which team's dominating the state and is the best at the time. And WA will take that into any State of Origin type of game and be really patriotic. So I'm
cool.
all for it. And I think it'll be... A lot of people think it's a jokey game. I reckon it'll be a hostile crowd. And people will love watching the Vic players all play together too, because it's a dream team.
Yeah.
It's virtually an all-star team,
Yeah.
right? But I hope that WA can do something. The piece of hope that I have is there's a lot of quick players in the WA team. A lot of the small forwards really quick, nippy. Some of the halfbacks really good as well. When the Indigenous All-Stars played Freo,
Oh, yeah.
they just ran us off the ground. I
Yeah.
don't know, it was...
Liam Reedy was struggling to keep up.
But yeah, no, I am really excited for it. I will have to... it's Valentine's Day, so which is a bit of a stitch up.
Ooh.
So I'm going on a Valentine's Day date dinner with Grace, so I have to catch up afterwards.
Nice.
But I will try and pop my phone on Do Not Disturb and then watch it. I assume it's on KO. Watch it on KO and be patriotic, because if I'm really excited for it. But I know a lot of people are just like, it's a game of footy. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what it's like.
No, it'll be good. And then how are you feeling about your Dockers this year? They're in the window. They're officially in the premiership window.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit of a pessimist when it comes to Freo, because there's been a lot of letdowns. I think should have a good year, have the talent on paper. A lot of guys that wouldn't get credit over in Vic that are really, really solid players.
Switkowski?
Good player.
Everyone loves him.
Yeah, and we've got some depth now where there's actual competition for spots. A lot of the younger guys have come through and can do a really good job plugging holes when needed. Realistically, should be a top 4 team, but I'm thinking a 5th or 6th finish. But I would take just a top 8 finish. I don't know.
Top 10, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. No comment. But that will actually be exciting, though, the top 10.
Had to be done.
Yeah.
Like, it used to irritate me that in a 16-team comp, 8 teams would make finals.
Yeah.
And then when it went to a 18-team comp, 8 teams make finals. And it would frustrate me that, like, 10 teams would miss out, which means coaches are getting sacked, fans are miserable. The gap between 18th and 8th is now bigger, so you're out of the season for longer.
Yeah.
Historically, if you don't finish in the top 3, and I know there's anomalies, but generally you don't win it.
Yeah.
So people are saying, 10th's going to win the flag. No, unless you're in the top 3, you don't win the flag anyway.
Like when was the last time a team won from 8th?
With the Bulldogs 7th.
Yeah, I don't think they were 8th. But yeah.
And then the Lions were 5th.
Yeah.
But outside of those two, I think for 150 years, unless you're in the top 3, like even 4th, I think statistically it's like very, very hard.
Yeah.
It's basically top 2. You need a double chance and a home final to have any real chance, unless you pull off the miracle. So when people are saying like, it's rewarding mediocrity, I'm like, no, it just makes the season funner. Imagine being, which I imagine the D's will be, 14th late in the season, but you're a game and a half outside of the 10.
Yeah.
At round 22, instead of walking into a dead rubber, even though you know yourself, real hope to do anything in the back end of the year, but you're a game away from being a game away.
Yeah.
Like, it'll make it fun. And I think footy should be fun and exciting. And I don't mind that the carrot will be dangled longer for teams like North Melbourne and Essendon and Port and hopefully
you know what you've
the
done?
D's.
You've changed my mind.
Yes. Because it's not so... it used to be a top 4 or a top 6 for like 100 years.
Yep.
We've only had a top 8 for like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But because we've only grown up with it, in our heads we go, we're changing centuries of tradition. And I go, mate, in 50 years, it'll just be a top 10.
Yeah.
Like in 50 years when it's still a top 10, people will be like, oh, cool, what a great system. But because it's getting the wild card tag, I don't think it'll be marketed as wild card. I think it'll just be finals. First week of finals. Can 10th get through to the top 8 bracket? And then from that point, 2 more teams drop off. So it's like you're almost eliminating 2 teams around per finals. I'm pumped for it. I think it'd be awesome. And that bye week used to suck.
Yeah.
That bye week between finals. Anyway, the only hope the D's will make it is 10th, so I'm pumped. They've moved the goalpost, and now we're a 0.1% sniff of making it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I'll need it. No track, no Clary. It's concerning.
Yeah, but you got the pickets.
Why don't you have both? Why don't you have both? Jamo, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for
I
having
hope it satisfied your need for the mic in your hand.
Feels good.
If it means anything to you, you haven't missed a beat.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
great.
it.
No, I really appreciate you coming on, and keen to see what you do in Victoria this year in the space. Thanks, mate.
Up the W.